Welcome to the Wednesday, April 20th, 6 p.m. regular meeting of the Lenox Select Board. I have one announcement. Carrie Sullivan, our town clerk, very nicely did something I asked her to do. When you hit the landing page for the town of Lenox, for the website, there's a little button up in the upper right-hand corner that says, "How do I?" And I don't know about you, but I love getting notices from the town if there's a meeting that's happening that I might want to go to and I don't know about, or if something's been canceled. So now the very first item under How Do I is how do I get town notices by email? And I suggest that if people want to get those email notices directly in their inbox, go to the landing page, sign up. You will get notifications from 56 different boards and committees of the town of Lenox, which is a great resource to stay on top of anything that you're interested in with the town. So thank you for that. And now I would entertain an acceptance of the minutes of April 6th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 6th meeting of the Lenox Select Board.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Great, thank you, gentlemen. Next is Citizens Open Forum. Do we have anyone who would like to address the crowd tonight? Hi, Katie.
Hi, Kate McNulty Pond, 10 Post Road in Lenox, and Ellen Jacobson and I, with the help of Jen Picard and a lot of wonderful volunteers, do an event in town which is free, and it's called the Fix-It Fair. And as someone who worked on the sandwich board sign bylaw, I thought I had made the application for a sandwich board sign that we usually get for this event. I sent it to Ellen, who was here 2 weeks ago. I sent it to Darlene McCauley at the community center, and I never sent it to the Board of Selectmen. So I apologize, and you can do this retroactively. Anyway, the sign is familiarly, looks like this. This is Saturday, coming up Saturday, April 23rd. It is from 1 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon at the community center on the first floor in what we call the lunchroom. So anybody who needs household items, clothing, or whatever fixed, please come by, and or you can also call ahead and let us know what you might be bringing, and that way we can contact the volunteers and make sure that we have the right tools in place. But we will have people to do sewing and also kind of electrical, mechanical, or whatever repairs. So I'm sorry, the sign has been up since last Saturday because I thought I had done the application.
So
but thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Or
I think it's quite all right because we did have Ellen visit at the last meeting, and when I walked past the community center today and saw the sandwich board up, I was like, oh, they're advertising, great. So
yes.
I figured it was a foregone conclusion.
Well, it's
So,
thank you.
So I think this falls under two categories. It falls under the non-portung, since it's already up. but I think in addition, I think it's it's an item that the chair could not have otherwise have been aware of prior to
This afternoon.
this
when I
afternoon.
discovered this.
And I think it's sufficiently reasonable enough, I think, to approve. If you wanted to vote that way.
Sure.
It's also time sensitive, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
So
I'll make a motion to approve the Fix-It Fair sign at the community center.
I'll second.
Great, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you,
I
Katie.
appreciate that very much, and as I say, I'm terribly embarrassed by, my role in the sandwich board sign bylaw and missing it myself. So thank you, and we'll see anyone Saturday, and we always need volunteers.
Great, thank you,
Thanks,
Katie.
Katie.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We have a number of items. There's a common victular license and entertainment license request for 110 Grill, which is being built at 489 Pittsfield Road. They are seeking entertainment license for recorded background music via Sirius, a television, live entertainment consisting of vocals and acoustic instruments, both indoors and outdoors on the patio. Next, Lenox Youth Basketball Association, craft fair and events. The LYBA is seeking permission to hold their annual craft fair along with dinner and breakfast the weekend of August 12th through the 14th. A student showcase in Lilac Park at the gazebo. Stephen Conyule is requesting that students from the school be granted permission to hold a musical showcase event on Friday, June 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. And the Rest of River Municipal Committee amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the completion of the Environmental Appeals Board. The Rest of River Committee is recommending authorization of the administrative Rest of River Monetary Fund as part of the intergovernmental agreement between Lenox, Lee, Stockbridge, Great Barrington, and Sheffield. Our representative, Mr. Gibson, our town council, and the town manager have provided a motion to establish an administrative monetary fund of $1.5 million to cover the legal, consulting, and other expenses incurred by the committee to monitor the implementation of the permit issued by EPA. A copy of the recommended motion is part of this packet and recommended for approval by consent. So that's everything on the consent agenda. May I have a motion?
So I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ed, are you going to approve?
Did I say aye?
You didn't say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure.
She's on me.
I know. Alrighty, on to general business. This is exciting. There's a request for an annual all-alcohol restaurant license for 110 Grill, doing 110 Grill CL Lenox LLC, doing business as 110 Grill. The property's located at 489 Pittsfield Road. The clerk shall read the legal notice as it appeared in the paper.
Okay, so notice is hereby given that a hearing will be held by the Selectboard in their capacity as licensing board on an application for a new annual all-alcoholic restaurant license, which has been filed with the local licensing board by 110 Grill CL Lenox LLC, doing business as 110 Grill, Kim Wallace, manager, for premises located at 489 Pittsfield Road, Lenox, and consisting of a single-story building with 3 rooms totaling 5,700 square feet and 1,700 square feet of patio. The board will act on said application on Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the Select Board's meeting room, Town Hall Building, Lenox, Mass. Mary Beth Mitz, Chair.
I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Kevin is here from 110 Grill. Yes.
Yes. It's not for amplification, but it provides
Sure.
audio for TV.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Kevin Erickson on behalf of the 110 Grill. With me tonight is Kimberly Wallace from the 110 Grill, the proposed liquor license manager. We're very excited to be before you seeking the all-alcohol liquor license. As indicated in the notice, we are proposing a 5,700 square foot interior restaurant space with 1,700 square feet of outdoor patio. If you're not familiar with our concept, we are a upscale casual family American restaurant with an open kitchen, scratch kitchen, and a varied menu. We have currently 21 locations open in Massachusetts, 6 in New Hampshire, 6 in New York, 2 in Connecticut, 1 in Rhode Island, and we're planning a few others over the next 2 years at least. So we're growing. We're happy to be back in growth mode and happy to be here in Lenox. The only deviation that we're requesting from the typical application as it pertains to hours is an early morning deviation on Sundays to allow for a Sunday brunch. So we're proposing a 10 a.m. start time on Sunday, which is the request that you saw in the application for the change of hours. We don't do brunch every Sunday, at least not currently, but we do have brunch on Mother's Day, Easter, certain other special events, or someone may want to rent out our PDR, our private dining area, for a shower or another private event. So that's something that definitely has been successful and well received in other locations, so that's why we ask for it. Happy to answer any questions that you have. The closest locations to here are, I believe, Holyoke and Hadley. We have locations there. And is there another one nearby?
Albany.
Albany, New York.
Yeah.
So,
Great. Yeah, we're very excited because you're right there at the Commons in Lenox, near Price Chopper and some other buildings that are building out. And that will be a nice addition toward the back of the property.
thank you. We're excited.
Yeah, I've been to your restaurant in Holyoke, and, you know, I and a lot of other people in town are very excited to have you come here.
Excellent.
another place to go. As far as the Sunday morning change with the alcohol license, we've done that in town other times, so I'm fully in favor of that. That's fine. And just wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
When do you think you'll be open?
So don't quote me on this because
Yeah,
this
of
is
course
such a
not.
moving target these
Yeah.
days, especially with the supply chain issues.
Yeah.
But typically, we're about 150 days of construction once turnover, the pad turnover. And we expect the turnover to occur from the landlord sometime in June. So I think 150 days out from there is sort of a realistic time frame. But we move quickly. I mean, we want to be open.
Great.
Great,
Well, good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public
I'll
hearing.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Terrific. Now I would entertain another motion to approve the application.
So I'll make a motion to approve the application of 110 Grill CL Lenox LLC, doing business as 110 Grill, located at 489 Pittsfield Road, for an all-alcoholic beverage license dated March 21, 2022.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Terrific. Thank you, guys. Good
Thank
luck
you
with
so much.
everything. Good luck with your construction. I've, seen a lot of activity over there, and we're looking forward to you being open.
We're thrilled to be, we're looking forward to be able to put some people to work and be in the community, because we're really big with taking care of the town
That's
we're in.
excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you all.
All right. Now, National Grid, Verizon public hearing. We have a representative from National Grid tonight who's going to discuss the potential installation of one pole on Edgewood Drive. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And do we have someone here from, hi there, National Grid, Verizon?
Steve here with National Grid. I have visual aids to hand out.
Sure.
I think we
thank
have
you, Steve.
copies in the packet. of
Okay,
The
yeah.
poll location.
Yep, same stuff that I have, pretty much.
I'll pass them out, that's fine. Thanks.
I could.
Yours are probably colorful. All we have is black and white. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm not sure if there are any abutters. Right, so Steve with National Grid. We are requesting to install a new pole on Edgewood Drive. That pole is gonna be before the bridge, if you're coming from East Street on the left-hand side. The reason that we're doing that is because the first two existing poles on Edgewood Drive now, they're just very far apart, and we're gonna be putting in new wire since that bridge construction is complete now. That new wire is just heavier, can sag a lot, and it's just bad news bears for our stuff. So yeah, we're looking to add a new pole to be able to lift all that stuff up, keep everything safe and reliable. I'm here to answer any questions from butters or from the board.
I'm Tom Skinner at 15 Edgewood Drive, and I do abut the location of the pole. I just want to make sure that the existing pole that has been temporarily relocated is going to go back to its prior position.
Yes, so that one that's kind of in your side yard, front yard?
Yes.
Yep, I think you may have seen one of my new stakes in the ground there. And
Yes.
That should be pretty close to where the old pole used to be. So
It
that,
is.
so that one that's existing now in your yard will be gone, and we'll put a new pole right back where the old one was.
Okay, great.
Great, that sounds good. We're very happy that that project is coming to completion. That was a scary time last summer when we had all that rain. We thank you for your cooperation during that difficult time with all of your wires and equipment. And I don't know if you guys have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Great, thank you so much. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And now we'll entertain a motion to approve the petition
So
for the poll locations.
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion to approve the petition for joint or identical pole locations submitted by National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc., dated January 12, 2022.
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if I could jump in here for a moment. I know that we went through the consent agenda relatively quickly tonight, and there is a gentleman here who the board didn't have any questions as it turned out, and so everything was approved of consent. But we have Mr. Connual here who is leading the charge on the showcase by students at the gazebo that was approved quickly without much notice. I don't know if he had anything that he wanted to say to promote that event, or I assume you don't have any questions. But
I mean, I don't have anything specific right now. I can say that I advise this club, we're going to be meeting 3 times a week for the next month or so, trying to get something together. It's kind of like we're excited about it because it's going to be outside. It's the end of the school year, and it's time to kind of open up the summer, and so we're really looking forward to trying to put something on for the town. And we promise not to be too loud.
Be as loud as you like. I think it's a great thing that there'll be children using that gazebo. It's nice to bring them into it as well. We tend to target other audiences, so I think that'll be really great for them to be here for that.
Very cool.
Thanks for entertaining that. I think it's great for our students,
Yes.
who we care a great deal about, and we also I know this board is very pleased to see use of that pavilion being made. So just wanted to point it out.
Super. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you going to bat for Mr. Conwell. Which brings me to another thing that I skidded right through. We need to also approve a registrar. We need to appoint a registrar.
I spoke with the town clerk this afternoon, and she's okay waiting the intervening 2 weeks or whenever the next meeting is to have that posted. And
Super.
unlike the Fix-It Fair, there's no sense of urgency, I think,
Excellent.
with that particular
Excellent.
request.
That just went past my line of sight, and I missed that.
No problem.
Alrighty, moving on to the annual town meeting warrant. We have a copy of our warrant for our review and signature, but I understand that, because we only have 3 people here tonight, we may want to table this so that we can get the other members involved, because it's nice to divvy up these articles with the whole group here. And I know that we've got a member who's out and sick, so we'll table it and we'll do a short executive session early next week.
It'd be a regular session.
A regular session,
yeah.
okay, thank you. I didn't know which way we're going to do. Okay, so we'll do a short regular session next week.
Sure. Were you shooting for, is that Monday?
I think we have to shoot for Monday morning if we can,
Monday morning?
because the warrant has to be printed.
Yeah,
And
right.
we have to send it to the printers, and Mary Ellen wanted to send it Friday, but maybe we can wait a day. So we can't wait any longer, though.
Okay.
It's one of those things that has to get done.
Okay.
And, but you're right, we're shorthanded tonight, we have to divvy up the,
Yeah, divvy up the
yeah.
responsibilities, so,
we should do it tonight, but I don't think we really can.
okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's fair.
Sure. All right, yeah, we'll certainly do that. By Monday morning, any particular?
It can be any time, but you're going to have to Zoom me in because I will be out of state.
Okay.
It may have to be a Zoom meeting, if we have any.
I would suggest posting it as a
Zoom
as a
meeting?
Zoom meeting. We're
Okay.
still allowed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're checking with
It's been a while since this board has done that. I wasn't sure if any rules had changed in the intervening period. I don't think that is the case. If it is, we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
But for now, and for the purposes of the public discussion, we'll agree to post that as a remote
Great.
via Zoom, and walk through the warrant, discuss your recommendations, and divvy up the speaking assignments.
Great,
Okay, super.
that's good, we'll do that then.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have more brains on this. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Chamber of Commerce, Concerts in the Park. Jen knocked, and it says that Ken Fowler's going to be here too, but Jen is here to update us.
And the agenda, how I'm on the agenda is incorrect. It's just to go over our events for the, so you
Right.
have, I've given the list of chamber events for for 2022.
Okay.
The first thing to talk about is the farmer's market. We have been, we're not going to be in the parking lot on Housatonic Street that we were in last year because it's going to be under construction. So we originally thought we were going to put it in the Greenway, and I had spoken to Dave Roche about this, the Greenway in front of the library, but then after having a conversation with Mary Beth about there's construction, and there'll be construction on Friday during our, so we would like to move the farmer's market to the Greenway along the sidewalk in front of Lilac Park.
We have an issue with that as well, because it's very busy there generally with parking on both sides of the street. We would really like you guys to try to find another location, and I know that, you know, the vendors don't like this, but if you could speak to St. Anne's and perhaps have it on the lawn in front of St. Anne's because there's a parking lot there, you guys don't have to get a police escort to, because I know that that cuts into your ability to, you know, make some money over the summer. I think that it would be fine, and traffic can pretty easily come and go on a decent flow if you're using that parking lot.
What about pushing it into Lilac Park, just on the edge of the park instead of the Greenway?
I think that parking is still going to be an issue.
Jen, we went over this, how many years ago was it? 3 or 4 years ago with Farmers Market. And we found that area to be probably the worst place you could put a farmer's market. You know, with the traffic, Friday afternoon, the traffic is huge with Tanglewood, everybody coming in early and that kind of thing. So Main Street is really busy on a Friday afternoon. You've got Sunset Avenue coming out, which is a tough intersection at any time of the day. And all the unloading, and people walking across the street and that kind of thing. This board, well, it was before your time.
Yeah.
This board chose to really be reluctant to put anything on Main Street. We did it down at the other park for a while, and that proved to be there was never an accident or anything, but there was a lot of issues where there could have been accidents. So that's why we chose to just not do it on Main Street. And I know we racked our brains, I mean, everybody in the world was trying to figure out a good place to put it, and God, it went down to Shakespeare for a while, it was at St. Anne's Church for a while. It's a hard town to find a place for that on a Friday afternoon. On a Saturday morning, it's a different story. But on a Friday afternoon, it's a hard thing to do.
Well, we've changed the time. It's from 11 to 3 now. It's not in the afternoon. But, I mean, the chamber took on bringing the farmer's market back as a way to bring people into town. And so doing that at St. Anne's kind of defeats that purpose because people park and then they leave. They're not walking around town. So I can see if possibly at the Triangle at Trinity Church, if that's amenable to the board, that might be a possibility.
I never thought about that.
I can actually also ask maybe Gateways if they wouldn't mind having it on their yard on Fridays. I don't know what else they have planned, but I could certainly check that too.
Those are 2 places we never thought about or never entertained to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I'd like to keep it within, you know, walking distance to town.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not going to be there, then it doesn't make sense for the chamber to keep running it, you know? So I will work on that and get back to you.
Is there any way of changing the day? I know they like it, because I know they go other places on Saturday, which is probably more lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, I had a meeting today with all of the farmers markets in all of the area, and it's sort of, you know, we were kind of filling a hole that wasn't, because Thursday is West Stockbridge and Friday is, there wasn't one, so that's why we picked Friday. Saturday, we would be competing with getting farmers from Pittsfield and Great Barrington that are very big farmers markets. And I just don't think at this point we can.
Because I think we found that Friday was probably the busiest day on Main Street that there is of the weekend.
Let me think about it, and come back to the board and see what we want to do. I
What
mean,
about Orbit Field, like that little field next to
Yeah, we
the,
did talk about that.
next to the baseball diamond? I mean, that's a possibility. I know that's down from town and.
yeah, I
really
mean, I'd
not
have to
too
talk to
psyched
the
about
chamber
that.
board, have to bring it up with the chamber board and whatnot, because like I said, if it gets out of sort of the downtown area, there, we're just, it doesn't make sense for us to, for the goal of it.
Right.
And, there's other benefits to having, having the farmer's market as a whole. I mean, today there was a huge discussion about people who can use their SNAP money at a farmer's market to buy produce where they can't, it's like they can't, afford the produce at maybe Lowe's or certainly at Guido's or whatever, but this gives people an opportunity in our community to be able to afford, fresh produce and things like that, or they, senior citizens, and because there are coupons that are given out by the community center that help them, like if they're given a coupon for $20, they can spend $40. We double the coupons at that, so then that's money from the state. So, I want to just, yeah.
I don't think any of us are opposed to a farmer's market. We'd all love to see one. I don't know where you can put it. A place that's safe with traffic. That's the problem. I mean, we all love a farmer's market.
Yeah.
We gotta find the spot.
I mean, hopefully in the next couple, next year, hopefully it's next year, Roach Reading Park will be available
Right,
again.
right.
But, we're just kind of in a
It's tough because
spot.
that's a tough place to like load and unload every Friday
Sure.
because of the traffic. That's why having it on the Greenway we were thinking, the farmers could just park and unload and, for the time being. But let me think about it. Let me talk to some people from the chamber board and see what we can come up with. So, okay.
Thanks.
So
So there's that one.
take-
Sorry.
I won't say anything else.
Spring Art Walk, again, because of not being able to be, we're changing the art walk in that it's going to be set up a little bit more like the Apple Squeeze, because we can't be in the parking lots and everything, or Roche Park. So it's going to be along the sidewalk and then across the street at Lilac Park as well, which we're also going to have music and the food vendors and food trucks and things like that. So that's really the only change with that. I mean, we're doing well in getting artists, and so that's underway. Lennox Love Music will also be moving to Lilac Park. That's on Sundays in June and September at 3:30. I've already submitted and gotten the approval for that. We moved that because so I had a conversation yesterday with Bill Gopp, and I don't know, it was my understanding that the dining terrace was not going to be set up again on Church Street because the new landlord, Ryan Salam, needed to use the parking lot for his tenants. So Bill was not aware of that yet. So I have an email out to Ryan to find out what's going on.
I emailed him this morning about the very same thing.
Oh.
So hopefully, he's got two people.
Great, because Bill and I talked about that, and I said it would be great to have, the tables in Lilac Park. He's like, it's a nightmare to have to mow and have to move the tables and whatever. I said it would be great if we could, like around the cannon, or, if there was some way to move the cannon, even temporarily, it might be, that would be, it's just very cool to use Lilac Park in town. It's just so central, it's so beautiful, and it's just, to direct people there is I think is a great thing for the town. Lennox Love Music will be there at the gazebo on Sundays. Now we are working on bringing a car show to town. I am working with Donovan Motors. It will be on a Saturday, June 18th, from 11 to 4. And we're going to park the cars on the Greenway, and then parallel parking. I did speak to Chief O'Brien, police, and have, I got the approval from him with that. And, we talked about different ways to set up, and so this was his suggestion. So hopefully we'll have about 50 cars downtown. We're hoping for 50. Just, I think it'll be a cool thing. We'll have some vendors. I'm gonna see if the Boy Scouts want to do the popcorn, and, we'll get a food truck to help for the.
So on
folks
both
coming.
sides of Main Street?
It's going to be mostly on the Chamber side of Main Street, so what is that, the
that's
east side?
East side.
East side of Main Street, and then if we have more cars, then we'll move it to just the Lilac Park and maybe some on Sunset, but we'll see. I mean,
50 cars, that'll take up quite a bit of room.
yeah, well, I had Donovan come out, and we sort of did a site survey and kind of counted, so, yeah.
Maybe some in front of the academy, if you could talk to the chapel.
Yeah,
And have it
that
down that
was,
way.
right, so we'll see, we'll just get the cars, so, that's their job, so, I just sort of help with the logistics and the marketing of it, so, but they're excited. Spoke to Ken Fowler, who used to do the car show, and, got his input on it, and, worked for him. I know the last time they did the car show, Main Street was blocked off, and I don't want to do that, and Chief O'Brien does not want me to do that.
It was a Friday night though, and it worked out, it didn't work out bad,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
so,
Yeah,
That one did,
yeah, that's good.
so anyway, and then, so moving on, we have teamed up with Church on the Hill to bring back their craft fair, which is July 30th and 31st. It's in Lilac Park. They were looking to us to do the administrative stuff and the marketing, so we agreed to do that, and so, yeah, so we're partnering with some of the people that have been doing events in town for a long time, which brings me back to Kenny Fowler, who says this is the last year for sure he's doing the Wednesday concerts, but he is, we've been talking, and he wants to try and hand over the reins and teach someone, teach the chamber to do it. So he's doing all the prep and getting all of the musicians signed up, and then as we put on the Wednesday show, then we'll have someone there who's going to learn how to do it and everything. So a lot of stuff is coming under our umbrella, but it's good, So then what do we have? Then we move into the fall art walk, and you can just see the dates of everything else. A couple of things that I did want to bring up that I also discussed with Bill Gopp yesterday were porta potties and the dearth of restrooms in this town. I would like to put porta potties. I had suggested Lilac Park in the back and having them there all summer because we have so many events going on. Yankee Septic gave us a very good contract rate. Bill, understandably, they don't look great. He had asked about the Academy House and maybe moving him over there, but I need to find out who I talked to there, or if they're able, I'm not that familiar with that building and where the bathrooms are in that building.
There's not much.
There's not much yet. I mean, he's talking about like putting the portable restrooms like outside the Academy building, because I believe there's water and electric outside that he can get to.
Yeah.
And we looked at this a couple of years ago, but nothing came of it, but.
I just think we need to have another set of restrooms in town.
I agree.
Because town hall's, I think, closed on Sundays, and.
I think you can still get in the back.
No, the restrooms are open Sunday.
They are?
You can still get in the back door. But it would be good to have something, on the other side of town.
I agree.
That people,
I
don't have to work too hard to get to, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not that far, but, people, it's a walk if you have to really go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? And for some of our visitors. So it's just something that we can talk about a little more offline, but just wanted to bring up the issue here. What else? I think that's all I've got for right now. Any other questions? Anything else we need to discuss?
That looks like the lion's share of it. The farmer's market is an issue. That's the only thing that we really need to suss out. So maybe we can, talk to Trinity Church, or maybe we can figure something. I mean, like you said, Orbed might be too far, but if you can talk to the chamber members and see what they think about that?
Yeah, let me see what we can do. I mean, I can also ask Ryan because Cafe Lucio's not opening yet, and they have that big area there on Church Street.
That's true.
Not forget that
That's
spot.
true, yeah, that lawn in the front.
Right. So,
And there's parking in his lot.
It's a 1 year thing, no, it's,
Yeah, well,
you know, big
Yeah.
1 year, it's
yeah,
better
1
than
year's,
no year.
yeah, but 1 year's like all we need.
Yeah.
Before we get
Yeah.
back to road treating.
yeah, and that's understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
people are always looking for it, but.
That's a good idea, that's a good
All right,
idea.
I'll check on a couple of things and then I'll circle back
Okay.
to you, Mary Beth, and then we'll go from there.
Super.
Okay?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You guys are doing a lot of good work. I really appreciate everything you're doing with the Lenox Cultural District and, you know, all these great programs. People love, the Lenox loves music. The art walks are great, the craft fairs, you know, this is such a lively place in the
I know.
summertime. And I know how much work you and Deirdre do. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's, you know, it's great having the support and the communication with the select board too. I mean, it just feels like we're all, you know, working together towards a common goal. So it's, it makes the job well worth it, let's put it that way.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate your hard work. Okay, and now we're going on to the Mass School Building Authority Statement of Interest. We have a statement of interest that we're going to need to read and vote on tonight. Bob Vaughn is here from the school committee to provide us with a little background information.
Okay, well, as you'll recall, I came before the board a month ago, I guess, approximately, just to let you know that we would be needing this vote. If we're going to submit a statement of interest, this vote is essential, required by the Mass School Building Authority. School committee will be voting on Monday night, and the document itself, the statement of interest, will be mega pages long. The one from Wacona was, I don't know, 60 to 80 pages. We're going to be writing the engineer's report will come in on Friday, and from that, we'll be taking what we learned from that, as well as what we've already written, because they want detailed information about the building, about all aspects of the systems, the educational programming. There's all kinds of stuff they want in a very prescribed fashion. And so we'll be putting together a document that will be, you know, many pages long. This will be just indicating that the Board of Selectmen and on Monday night, the school committee are okay with us submitting it. And so I put together the 4 priorities that we anticipate will be in our document, and just a very brief parenthetical piece about each one. There's probably more that will be, you know, a whole lot more detail will be in the final report. But I think that this is probably sufficient based on what I read in the Central Berkshire SOI. This seems to be what would be necessary to be voted on.
Okay, and this is a statement of interest that essentially just gets us to stand in line for consideration.
It's the very, very beginning
Yes.
of what potentially could be a lengthy process, or it could be a short process. I mean, in many, many, many steps along the way, obviously, the town would have to weigh in.
Right.
But this is begins to open the door if MSBA decides to talk to us. They may review it and say, we've got many other more needy projects ahead of you, and we're back submitting the same thing next year, coming back again for another vote and
Right.
and all that. And that's what Central Berkshire did for 15 years.
Exactly.
We're hopeful that we'll be quicker than that in the process, but we're not. I don't want to be Pollyanna-ish about it. It could be a lengthy process.
Right, and that's something that I want to just make known as we're voting on this as a select board, is this is not an endorsement of, you know, we're going to be doing this project, we're going to be building a new school, we're going to be renovating the school. This is just to get us to stand in line for consideration. We're
Exactly.
well aware that, you know, Taconic has just built a new high school, that Monument Mountain is at the beginning of possibly receiving funds for their renovation or significant building undertaking there. You know, I'm not sure how the Massachusetts Association of School Buildings is going to look at a request like this when, you know, we are a district of less than 1,000, but this gets us to stand in line, and I just
Right.
want to make that
And this is a different MSBA than the one that approved the schools back in the 90s.
correct.
It's the legislation changed at some point, and the makeup of it and the way they look at things is different, and I don't know precisely what the differences are, but,
Right.
but it's a different group.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, you know, coming to us with this. And now I'm going to read this very long letter to everyone, because this is what we're going to be voting on. This is a statement from the Town of Lenox Select Board's office. Resolved, having convened in an open meeting on April 20th, 2022, prior to the statement of interest submission closing date, the Board of Selectmen of Lenox, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form dated April 29th, 2022, for the Lenox Memorial Middle and High School located at 197 East Street, Lenox, Massachusetts, 01240, which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future. Priority 1, replacement or renovation of a building which is structurally unsound or otherwise in a condition seriously jeopardizing the health and safety of school children, where no alternative exists. Parenthesis, movement in walls and floor, exterior walls filled with vermiculite infiltrating into the building et al., close paren. Priority 3, prevention of loss of accreditation, parentheses, science classrooms last renovated in 1966, not ADA compliant, do not meet 2018 MSBA specifications for science classrooms et al., close paren. Priority 5, replacement, renovation, or modernization of school facility systems, such as roofs, windows, boilers, heating and ventilation systems to increase energy conservation and decrease energy-related costs in a school facility. Parentheses, 25-year-old roof, windows in the 1966 wing, plumbing et al., close parentheses. And priority number 7, replacement of or addition to obsolete buildings in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved local requirements. Parentheses, science classrooms, locker rooms, floor cracking, separation, 20% of teaching faculty do not have their own teaching space et al., close paren. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting this statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits the Lenox School District to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. That is what we'll be voting.
So I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. So do you need this signed, Bob? Or are you just
We'll-
going to take that sheet
We'll
of
have to
paper?
put this on the formal town letterhead.
Okay.
And then get all that
Super.
signatures.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for letting us know what this was all about. And finally, we're going to discuss non-residential parking fee proposal for the town beach. We got a letter from the Community Center Board regarding a proposal to institute a fee for non-resident use of our town beach. I'm opening the floor to what you guys might think of that.
Well, I like the idea of opening it up, you know, for especially people who are here just for the summer and other residents, and a nominal fee attached to that. And, you know, see where it goes. I think we'll be fine. If something isn't, we can change this year to year if something doesn't seem to work out right. But from what I understand, the beach isn't overly utilized as it is right now. So,
Yeah,
you know, get a few more people in. And people that come here in the summer that rent a house, they aren't residents, I mean, they should have that availability to them.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I went over and talked to Darlene today about it, and my biggest concern was, collecting a nominal fee, whatever it may be, $5, $10, and there being someone to collect that and holding the cash or having to make change. To me, that seems really difficult for, an 18 to 20-year-old, which is probably who we're going to hire. Not that it's a difficult thing to do, but I worry about that person sitting there with a cash box in their lap all day or whatever. Perhaps we could do this through Venmo or some kind of a service so that it's, not.
That I agree with you about. To begin with, the person wouldn't even cover their salary, I don't think, with what we
Right.
take in.
Right.
But you need some kind of, I don't know how else you could do it.
Right.
And I talked to Darlene also about it, and, she was worried about the security part. I said, well, just give them the money if they rob you,
Yeah, but
But it's not good, it's not good, it's
Right.
not a good answer, I know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want, there to be a kid there at 5 o'clock,
Yeah. And,
waiting and, oh my gosh.
So if there is some kind of people know more about Venmo and all than I do, so there should be a way to do that.
If you're
pretty
driving
easily.
anywhere, you've generally got your
You've
phone
got
with
that
you,
phone, you can do it.
and you can just, type it in and,
And we have lifeguards that are there to monitor the entire beach, the parking lot and everything. The Venmo's a good idea.
So I'm fairly confident that staff can overcome whatever logistical challenges may be facing part-time or other staff. I think the salient question for the board to grapple with is the overall policy itself. Is this a good idea? I mean, it's based on the whole, what in public policy school we call the tragedy of the commons, right? Is the unfettered access to
Right.
a finite public space, create a suboptimal environment, right? So that's really the question. I mean, we will figure out how to keep folks secure and how to handle the money part.
yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to charge people, because it will, we're not gonna be making a lot of money, but.
Well, you wouldn't do it as either a revenue generating
Right.
incentive or even as a cost recovery fee. You would solely be doing it for the sake of creating this environment where you don't see overutilization of the public resource, and you'd be sort of paying to accomplish that. You wouldn't make your money back, and that shouldn't be the intent from the outset. So.
What do you think, Warren?
I concur.
Well, I like the idea of opening up to people.
Yeah.
And there again, if it's some kind of issues come up and we have to pull back on that, we can do that. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, it sounds like Darlene also needs possibly a little, that things get kind of crazy on some weekends, 4th of July. Maybe there's a lot of cars, she has had issues with a lot of people being there at certain times.
Yeah.
So maybe we limit it
So,
if we need to do that. But I think it's a good idea.
not to put words in the community center board's mouth here, but one of the things that isn't apparent from the letter that they drafted to you is, we've been through 2 years of COVID where it has been residents only, and perhaps we could suss out from them their feeling. I have the intuitive sense that they thought that was good, but I don't know that from reading the letter necessarily. That might be something for them to expound upon in how they recommend, one direction or another to this board.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. It sounds like if it's something that they'd like to give a try with, let them give it a go.
All right.
Yeah.
super, we'll figure it out.
Okay, great.
Bob, in?
Oh, I can just give a little perspective as a user of the beach. Robert Vaughn, 10 Post Road. As a user of the beach, back in 2019, there was no fees, and there were a lot of out-of-towners who used the beach. In fact, probably way more than Lenox people. And then, of course, we had 2020, it was closed, I think until the very end or something. And then 2021, it was open just for Lenox. And you know, it was relatively sparsely used. So I think from my perspective, a compromise, you know, I know even when my family came up from out of town, if they didn't drive my car, then they were gonna be out of luck. I think it would certainly make sense to charge something, because otherwise I think you will find that it might get a little bit more heavily used by out-of-towners than you might want. But I do think getting back to having more people there would be good. Last year, you know, the community center, you know, had a person up at the top of the hill checking to see if you were a Lenox resident or not, and that was, you know, and there was no money changing hands, and no money was being made, but a person was always there to check that. So this will at least bring a little bit of money in to help pay for that, so.
Exactly, thanks. Okay, great. Do we need to vote on this, or is it just by acclamation that we
I think I've
let you?
gotten the
Great.
the flavor of it. We can,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, well, that looks like all we wrote for today, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.